Hi, this is Gigi Haycock. I'm one of the programmers at the SF Doc Fest 2023, and I am so pleased to have some filmmakers here from Into the Shaolin, an incredible film. And I just want to thank you all for taking the time to come and please introduce yourselves, and then we can go from there.
I'm the producer. I'm Emma Shi. I'm also a programmer too. I program Shanghai International Film Festival. I help director Sun on this film for the producing. And please, Professor Sun. Hello, 孙老师。
然后我介绍，I'm Hong Yuan Sun, director of the film.
I think you froze. I think it froze. Are you all in China?
Yeah, I'm in Shanghai. Professor Sun is now in Beijing, and the photographer is Professor Sun's student actually. Professor Sun teaches in Beijing Film Academy. That is the best film school in China.
Yeah.
So
great. Well, why don't we? Yes, go ahead and introduce yourself.
And the films actually it takes 3 years for the group and in Henan province. That's where the temple locates. Professor lived there with the monks and to take all these stories. She actually films quite a lot of people and select these stories after years and make this into a films.
Oh, such a gorgeous film. And she was, we lost Shen. It's just you and me, Emma.
Sorry.
But what was interesting to me is there's always been such a mystery around the Shaolin monks, in that, there's such unfettered, there's so much access to the temple and to their lives. It was really remarkable how that came about, and I'm just kind of curious how they were being filmed. So maybe I'll wait until we get the director back, or unless you want to say something to the effect of what it was like producing this film. How about that?
Actually, there are so many tourists coming for us in these places. It's not a very quiet temple, but it's like the most popular tourist resort in China.
Yeah.
So you can imagine there are lots of people who wants to shoot this topic, and then we get access to the most important monk of this temple, the headmaster of this temple, and we get very close, and he allow us to shoot, and we get very close to these monks. There are like six subjects in our films. The child monk, right, is playing kung fu or martial arts, and the 2 young monks there are 2 young monks plays kung fu, and one is doing the meditation, right? One and his students doing the meditation, and Sylvia girl, anthropologist. So it's like their stories, and we follow them for years. Actually, we are not allowed to live on the mountain with these monks. We live beneath the mountain, and we go up, down for every day and take these stories. And at first, there are many people shooting the same story, but after pandemic, we are confined at homes, and we are not allowed to go outside, and suddenly this temple goes very quiet. And Professor Sun is the only one who constantly go and still taking the stories. So finally we have this.
And that's why it seems so quiet, within all those space when you're saying that it's such a big tourist attraction. There is a part where you do see that all those people are there.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm
Hi.
out. Sorry.
No, it's all good. We're technology.
This is the photographer. He is Professor Sun's student, so he could talk more about the stories behind the film.
So I'm a little bit nervous because my English is not very well. I just gotta to speak the story with Chinese. Yeah. So
well, we can take it. So far I think you speak wonderful. So what was interesting to me is how young some of those the kids in training and the discipline, and it was so I mean they were doing such physical activity, to then become maybe decide to be ordained into being a monk.
yeah.
我帮你翻译好了。我帮你翻译。
我就是他指的是小孩还是说年轻的武僧？
他说这些小孩多小才就被送进去了，是不是？我看好像是4、5岁左右，对吧？
小孩的话，他们有一部分就是在寺院的小孩，因为在中国，武僧就是进寺院其实是不被允许的，在可能只有18岁以后才是名正言顺的，就是儿童时期是不可以的，就是在青年是可以的，可能一般在16岁以后可能会被送到寺院的，真正进寺院进修的会多一些，就是能够在寺院生活。然后小孩子的话，可能有不同年龄阶段，最小的武僧我们在他们少林寺武校大概在4、5岁的有最小的这个年纪。
OK， 我先翻译一下啊。Actually, right here. Actually, they are not allowed to be a real monk until they are 16 or 18. So teenagers or child is not allowed to be a real monk. They stay at the temple, but just that's actually for training. They are not orphan at all. They have parents, and actually we can see that they're talking to their moms, and the child say, "My mom, my daddy send me to here because I don't learn or something." They pay tuition to learn there. So they are not real monk. They are just training. And some students say I'm going to. Some people say I'm going to be a kung fu star to play movie, to act a movie, and some said I'm going to to open a kung fu school or something. So they are actually just training there. But I think it might be good for their body and for their mind. So it's very hard. Yeah, it may worth something.
Yes, I mean they definitely are disciplined in doing everything, and then there's other parts where they're running around and they're singing songs around the tree and everything. So they do have time when they're not just training, but they're learning maybe more of the Chan part of Kung Fu.
Chan, yes. Yeah, they learn school, and they also have to learn this martial arts. This physical training would also strong their body and mind. So that's why their parents will support them to go. Actually, it's not very, the tuition fee is not very cheap.
So they really want them to go. So yeah, I was so interested in the way that what Chan is and how it translates into the expression in Kung Fu, because described in the film, it talks about it being about your inner thoughts, your morality comes from your body, and then the martial arts is the external expression of those two things, which you might think are not, you know, they're contradictory, but yet they come together to make this. So you have your Chan into the Kung Fu is what I got from it. So your inner and then your external comes from the practice and the discipline and intensity of Kung Fu.
事实上，我觉得他们的那个禅，就是他们禅，其实不是在日常生活中每天都是将禅这个字眼挂在嘴上的。其实禅在他们是在于他们的每日的生活训练当中，就包括他们在少林寺的像后山呀、像瀑布呀、像少林寺的周边以及少林寺寺内的这些训练生活，其实是践行他们禅的一个过程。而不是就是佛教里面有一句叫不立文字，教外别传，就是说其实传的表达并不是，就是传的体验和传的表达，传的学习并不是在于文字的说教方面的，所以这个时候他们的功夫的这种内在跟外在其实是这个时候在训练上他们是统一的，其实是在体验上，而不是在文字上或者说教上，我觉得
这很难说清楚，我觉得这很难说清楚，我觉得很难说清楚这个问题。
OK
Actually, actually, our photographer expressed his thought, but actually, I think it's really hard to express it in words. You see, in Shaolin, we have a lot of decoration everywhere in the temple, like the waterfall, the forest, the temple itself, the architecture and everything, the blossom trees, everything inside the temple. We would have the feeling of Chan and make people calm meditation and to lower down the persistence of myself. In Chinese, we call it 我执. The Chan tell us the world is constantly changing and we should maintain ourselves. The thought is throughout their lifestyles, and to practice this martial arts is just one part of their the ideal thoughts. Maybe it has some contradictory parts, as you know. If you totally low down your pursuit, you will not pursue Kung Fu. You will not pursue. They are playing some theater art, but still they live in the temple. They have their pursuits. That's what Professor Sun, the director, would also like to express in his films. So you away from your family, away from your work, you are going to a temple, but still you cannot leave the words, the worldly words holy. I mean, it's contradictory, but also it has a contradictory part, but still the Chan is the pursuit in everyone's heart inside this film or temple. Yes.
Yeah. And then I think it was very interesting when the people who were training there, the older ones, you know, especially that one scene where that young man goes back to be with his grandparents, kind of trying to ask their permission to, that he's deciding that he wants to maybe be a, and so there's that element to it too, is where people come in and then they also go back out and to the world after they spent time, and then a lot of them have difficulty finding just like regular jobs, so they often do martial arts on the outside.
Yes. So when they spend years in the temples, actually they are cut off the relations partly with the worldly world. The only thing they could do is Kung Fu or meditation. So it will be hard to find a job or get back to their normal life. So they will actually be very upset actually inside. So it's also a contradict that you should abandon everything, but for some reason you are still want to connect, and then you fail.
Yeah. And your family may have some, expectations, like, have kids, get married, have kids. Yeah.
In China, these old people, they have very deep root to believe that if you don't have a persistent, you don't have child, you are not good or faithful to your family. So these old people, they will never accept that. It's a very big hit on these old people. They are leaving the world, but their child are not going to have child. It's contradicted the Chinese tradition in a very hard way.
Yeah. And yet training to become a monk is not considered a good path, or they would rather them have children. I mean, I guess it depends on the family, whether or not they accept it or not.
I would say 95% of Chinese family would not accept that. They may accept you are not married or have a child, but they will not accept you are leaving the family, become a monk and not having a child. So this is very rare, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see what else I have. I love the part about how you need to be in tune with the seasons. Here we go. I think we have someone I can admit. Hold on one sec. It's connecting with audio. So my question was about the seasons. They were talking about Marta from Serbia, the anthropologist, was talking about how they in Europe they kind of fight against the seasons, whereas at the temple they go with it when there's cherry blossoms, and then when there's leaves, and then when there's snow, and and they're out there meditating in the snow, in the mountains with fire. I mean, I love that. I think that really came across beautifully about how they saw nature around them.
Yes, it's a part of Chinese tradition to go with the seasons. Actually, in Chinese medicine systems, or we have a lot of saying like in what season you should eat what kind of food, and that helps to build a good body. So it's a part of or Chinese tradition or Chinese culture.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Now, how is the going outside and performing, and then being able to having to come back to a more monastic life when they're out, performing in the world wherever they go, and then how do they adjust to being back in the training and the more quiet, more in looking into themselves? Is it a difficult?
Actually, this we have several subject heroes in these films, and the two monks doing meditation, they are not playing martial arts, and right. This martial arts monks who plays performance, they are specially selected, and they are focused on this stuff. So they travel all over the world. They're training the small monks generation by generation. You see the poster, and the big monks said that's what I do when I was 8, and then he's grow up. He trained other small monks. So these are two parts of monks. They are doing different jobs in the temple, and they are very successful actually on this performance, as it's played for years and all over the world, and it's a quite a beautiful show actually. Yes, with with the sort of the combination of both martial art and Chan. And finally, everyone have like a coffin or a box. You play in the box, and finally broke off the box. It's partly the sort of Chan. So you broke off your coffin or the things you confine you, and then you find yourself and return to nature or what it shall be. So,
to Earth.
Yeah. So we decided to put that part into the film to make it more interesting, and also this show is also to prove what Professor Sun would like to talk about with these people, for these people. Yeah.
Sure. For the professor, I'm curious about in something that was in the director's statement. It was like, what is it to be Buddhist in the modern day, and then in your daily life, and then coming to this temple, and how that affected you. I'm curious. Maybe what shift there was.
Yeah, the Shaolin is the birthplace of Chan. So the most important is Chan, not Kung Fu. But actually, every if you're young monks, they focus on practice Kung Fu. But actually, they had they had one things actually. One thing's two sides. Kung Fu is the one face, and Chan is the other face. If you want get the high level Buddhist, you should through practicing Kung Fu get Chan. Practice Kung Fu is challenge by your deadline of your body, and the Chan is the same things when you beyond your body and get some sprint things. So they become one things in Shaolin. So Shaolin, they always everybody they recite some sutra that at the same time. Everyone they could practice Kung Fu. I think they during practicing Kung Fu get Chan. That's the same thing.
Yeah. So you were there for 2 years living at the temple?
3 years. Not
3 years.
Is the temple, Shaolin temple. Just monks can stay there.
Oh, right. You're adjacent.
They have a hall. Yeah, they have a hall for guests. Marta stayed there only only half year, because COVID-19 spread out. She can't stay outside. If she stayed outside, she can't enter the temple. It's a strictly temple, so only monks stay there. Some in watch some scenes in the movie, such as the young monk let the mouse outside or some things. I let the photogrammer Mr. Shen, he can stay with the monks, sleep with them, do everything. But after Shaolin is an open monastery. They let most time I can stay everywhere. Just when they do the Chan 7+7, when they do the strictly meditation, they don't let any woman enter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was so beautifully shot, and the sound was amazing when they're doing, their training and everything. I have to tell you, it just that one where he was trying to find what would my weapon be, and making those kind of decisions in that was really wonderful.
They call Shaolin weapons. They famous weapons, 17-2 weapons, such as hammer and sticks. But the sticks is most important for Shaolin monks, because the monks, when they work outside, they need the sticks is most covenant. They got it, and they famous sticks everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were also cutting rice, I think, right? So they're working in doing that too, in the fields. I thought that was nice to show that as well. Just kind of, it's not all just in the temple, you know, that this is another meditative way that they, you know, contribute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. So is there anything you think that I haven't asked that you would like to say about the film? About, I don't know, where it falls in maybe the surrounding area where they are. I mean, it's touristy and stuff, but also how it was to film it and to photograph it.
Actually, if you just as a tourist, you want shot in Shaolin Temple, it's easier. But if you want shot them for a long time at deep their life, you need get the permission from the abbot.
Yeah. So you got that.
Yeah, yeah. For the first year, our team firstly, our team more than 10 people. We can't get any real life, and we can't get real communicate with the monks. And then just most of the time, Mr. Shen and I get there, stay there, and try and make friends with the monks. And then they said, oh, that's great. Most of the time, Mr. Shen helped the monks get the video they post online, so we make friends. We made many short video for the monks. Yeah, we make friends with them. I talk them some about the Buddhism and some some Chinese culture like that. And then the abbot and the old monks, they believe us. And so that's why we could stay there 3 years.
Yeah, it's a beautiful film, and the sound is wonderful. And I thank you all for taking the time to do this little interview for us. And people are it'll be nice for them to have something to hear from the filmmakers and producers once they see the film. So thank you all very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay.